how Earth appears to be. Mountains as pegs against. Now this is something very important. Mountain.
Okay.
Quran says we have put mountains as pegs so that it does not shake with you. Now there are two claims here. One
Mm-hmm.
is that mountains are like pegs, which many Muslims clearly uh, correctly point out that yeah, mountains have deep roots, like pegs are supposed to have deep roots,
Yeah.
and that is fine. But then there is a second claim, and this is really critical. The
Okay.
second claim is that mountains somehow stop Earth from shaking. So you would understand it as mountains stop earthquakes. Now the real question is: Do mountains stop earthquakes? What do we know?
Okay.
See, this is the problem. When I try
See,
to do
building up
some
the suspense. We're building up the suspense,
yeah,
people.
yeah. So when I try to do research on do mountains stop earthquakes, many with Muslim websites claim, yeah, we have verification, mountains stop earthquakes, and then they refer to another Islamic website. And I go to that other Islamic website, it refers to a third Islamic website. The reality of the
And
matter
you
is
keep
we don't
keep on
know.
going until there's an earthquake.
But this is the thing. The reality of the matter is do mountains stop earthquake? There is some research done, especially as late as 2020, indicating that mountains, sea mounts specifically, big sea mountains, might reduce the magnitude of earthquakes, but there are researches indicating both ways, so we don't know. There is indication that that might be true, but to say that we have verified scientifically that sea mounts or mountains reduce earthquakes, this is not a factually correct statement. The real thing is, as of 2020, from what I have read and from what I have seen of science in scientific papers, the real status of this event is that we don't know. It doesn't say that mountains don't stop earthquakes. It doesn't even but it doesn't, there is some indication that they might stop earthquakes, but let's be truthful. And it's
Hmm.
really very important to be honest. Quran says
Yeah.
speak the truth even if it is against yourself, if I remember correctly, that there's a
Wow.
verse in where,
No, very,
you know
very, very well said. That we shouldn't. That even if there are certain verses, we shouldn't just. Let's not just totally jump to glory. Let's take things a step at a time. There's going to be things that we're not so sure about, but they're not discredited either. They're just the. It speaks about Allah saying, "Look, we have placed these mountains as something." The verses seem to imply as though something firm. Now, one understanding could be that it gives firmness to the ground. Another understanding could be that they, in and of themselves, have been placed in a firm manner. But if we take the scientific meaning, there is no. What you're saying is there is no clear cut evidence, but still, maybe time will tell.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that this particular idea that mountains reduce earthquakes, which the verse you might see as a direct indication from the verse, so that it doesn't shake with you. So it says that we made mountains as bags so that it doesn't shake with you. This clearly indicates that Quran is trying to assert that mountains reduce earthquakes. Do we know it scientifically? We don't. The idea is that there is some indication that that might be true, especially for the sea mounts. As of 2020, there are some papers written, but it's not something that has been established. So we should be very careful in saying there is high probability, but maybe we need to do more research on it. Maybe if somebody can get motivated and study geology and work on this as his PhD thesis, write some papers, then maybe next
Uh,
time he will be
prof-
talk and he can say this has been verified. That's what you need to
Professor,
do before you actually utter
let
something.
let alone reading papers. You're the only person here out of all of these people that is going to be reading papers. Let alone reading papers. We're not a people who read anymore. there's just way too much to watch on
No,
on TV.
yeah, I'm not even saying reading. I'm saying writing papers. So before some of these Islamic websites can come up and state that we have confirmed that mountains can reduce the magnitude of earthquakes. They need to get up there, do some research for maybe 5 years, 10 years, and then assert that if they can
Hmm.
prove it.
I see. I see.
So, so very, 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 being very honest, like this is really
Let's
important
be
because when you're
honest.
dishonest, the genuine things are also discredited. When you're being dishonest and you state things that are not true, your genuine things are also discredited. And it's not difficult in present day for anybody to come up and discredit what you're saying as wrong. I mean, if you make some factual errors, like you might make errors in terms of you not having proper understanding or you missing something out, then people can come up and correct you. But there's one thing that people can see, that this person has made a sincere error. And another is that this person had no idea and he's just inventing facts, or he's just deliberately misrepresenting. That's a different question altogether. uh, for, Speaking of this, for example, I saw this video some Christians had made
Huh?
up.
Acha, acha.
Um,
I thought you were going to tell
and
us about a video you've watched. I was going to say now everybody can relate.
yes, so apparently Zakir Naik was talking about evolution, but he was talking about it in a very wrong way, and he was reviewed
Oh,
like
is
refuted in
that
five
the
minutes.
one where he says that theory of evolution? I am a medical
Yes.
doctor. You can take my word for it.
I would, but anyway, like you should be very careful in uttering. Like whatever you utter, you should be very sure, and you should not just rely on some. This is again important for all the audience. Don't rely on either Islamic websites or websites that are against Islam. Do your independent research. Try to see if you can come up with something, and then you can say, well, I agree with this point, I don't agree with this point. That is fine. I sometimes disagree with my own points every year, and that's fine.
You argue with yourself.
Yeah, well,
You're like,
that's
yeah,
also
yeah.
right.
Don't say it again.
I
You're
write
like, don't. Huh?
I wrote a paper with an X point of view, and then after some time I realized that is wrong, and I write another paper with a Y point of view, saying how wrong I was in my first view. But that's the evolution of knowledge. If I do not change
Wow.
every view, like if at least one of my view doesn't change in a year, then I think I have made no progress in that year.
Wow. Wow. See, take inspiration. People take inspiration from Professor. Naam.
So